The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, Phixated Nation, and not just any evening. It is opening day evening, but opening day eve if you're a Phillies fan, and we are fired up here on the Phixated podcast. I am joined tonight by the Timberland to my Timberlake, Regz, baby. What's
Goodness
up?
gracious. I mean, I was trying to get hype about opening day, and then you bring that up. I mean, again, luckily it's a happy memory.
That's a happy memory. It could have been much worse.
I don't think I've ever been more out of my shell than that moment.
You danced on stage, Regz. You danced on stage.
I still can't believe it.
I'm to this day, I won that competition because of you.
I don't think that's true, but I appreciate the gas nonetheless. I just don't ask me if I was sober or not is the only question. I'll make sure people don't ask me.
99% of the people on that stage that night were not sober. I was the 1% that was.
That's good. You weren't afterwards, that's for sure.
Oh, no. We celebrated all night. Mr. E-Town 2008, baby.
Woo. You know, just one rolled up jean, you know, and a tank top, you know. That's how we roll.
Was that whiteout that spelled out Timberland on that shirt?
It had to have been. I don't know what else we would have used. Like one of those whiteout pens, probably.
I mean, we made those like the night before too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You were the only one who had to make the shirt.
That's true. I don't remember. I don't remember what I made it out of.
No, because you probably made it when you weren't sober too.
Yeah. Well, there's a good chance in those 4 years. There's a good chance.
Well, here's the thing. We're talking about 2008. What a great year 2008 was. Not only did yours truly, humble bow, win the Mr. E-Town competition, however, you know, but the Phillies won the World Series that same year. Now, also joining us that night was my family, one of those people being my brother Joseph, who on my screen is directly to my right. So we're going to bring him right in. It is the Joseph episode, opening day eve.
Part two.
Joseph, part two. You're here. Welcome back to Phixated, man.
It's great to be here on an opening day eve that a lot of us, including baseball lifers, never thought was going to happen this year. So it's just so awesome to know that a day of work tomorrow for myself, and I'm sure Regz, as many listeners probably will get to know this episode, that Michael will be down there tomorrow at Citizens Bank Park. But I'm just happy to get through my day tomorrow, come home, eat some lunch, and watch Phil's baseball, because starting lineups, introductions aside, that's one of my favorite parts. So can't wait for all the pomp and circumstance of April 8th, 2022.
Joseph, real quickly, got to ask you, over your left shoulder, is that a sign that someone made for you or for mom?
The sign is actually one of our students in one of the classes I work in, but it is actually for Mrs. A.
Joe Marie shout out tonight.
Yeah,
listen, we had
saw
Big Tom earlier.
Yeah.
Marie shout out, getting the whole family involved.
Regz, I had actually a specific request for a Joe Marie only episode.
Yeah, we need to do that.
I had someone request just Joe Marie on the episode.
I am the honorary third Azalina brother.
Over under Chooch.
Wait, Joseph, before we get into Phillies baseball, a couple of things, okay? The first thing being, Regz, before we came on the air, you said that you had to crack down on the Warriors tonight. No game updates, but Coach Regz update?
Yeah, no game updates, but we had our first outdoor practice of the season last night. Obviously, it had rained quite a bit, and our field does not hold water well. So it was outfield only practice, but our big problem is the basic fundamentals of baseball, which is throwing and catching. They just seem to forget that it's really important, and they just don't try. So what I did is I got them all in pairs. I lined them up, and I said, here's how we throw. You point your glove, right? Get your arm back, fingers down. You bring your arm up, and you follow through. And then the other person needs to be there, arm extended, show a target, and watch the ball into your glove. So I let them practice that for 5 minutes, just so they got the rhythm down while I was still chirping at them to put your arm back, get your glove out, all that stuff. And then I said, everyone hold the ball. And I started at one end, and I said, you throw the ball to the other person. If they missed it, if the other person didn't catch it, if they threw a bad throw, if they didn't extend their arm, run as far as you can that way and then run back. Both of them. No, the other person wasn't getting out of it. Go to the next pair. And I did that for 10 minutes. I made them just drop a ball, run. Don't throw a ball to the target, run. Don't get your arm extended on a throw, run.
Sergeant Payne.
Gordon Bombay.
They just forget for
Unbelievable.
no reason.
Gordon Bombay. Joseph.
They forget for no reason. And it's an effort thing. It's not, the kids are smart. The kids know what they're doing. And they're talented when they decide they want to be. So lack of effort is like a pet peeve of mine. And I wasn't having it. I'm not putting up with it. We're not putting up with it. It's baseball season. We could put up with it in the fall because it's not baseball season. They're doing other things. We're just there to learn some stuff. This is baseball season. So
back to the basics at the Warriors practice this week.
Back to the basics and back to some consequences. I'm going to run them ragged is what I'm going to do.
I think Joseph's Coach Carter style.
Yeah.
They're going to learn. They're going to learn one way or the other.
I'm going to learn today. You're going to learn today.
They're going to learn
for sure.
one way or the other. So we'll see how it translates into the games on Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you got to let us know how it turns out come Saturday. Yep. I mean, I'm going to text you on Saturday.
We will. We got a doubleheader.
Yeah. You're going to get a text about halfway through the day. How'd it go?
I will
Phillies
let you
play
know.
at 4:05, so we just got the text chain going.
Warriors and Phillies all at once. Yep. Hey, Regz, you lost your bet.
I did lose my bet over on the two-way miss.
You did. The other podcasts on the platform, for those of you that have not smartened up to the idea of listening to that podcast, because it's incredible.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
They made a bet this week about Tiger playing in the Masters, and the co-host who you've seen on our show before, Chris Fairbanks, said Tiger'd play. He would play.
And I didn't believe it. I thought he'd come back at St. Andrews where it's flat, where he has the most time to get ready. It's the last major of the season. And I was wrong. And we haven't quite decided a consequence yet for that, but I'm sure we'll be scheming up something.
And not only wrong, but Tiger's 1 under through the first round.
They put a list out of the top 25 guys in the world that he beat, and there's 14 of them on there.
Yeah. It's insane.
I don't know what else you can say about this guy.
No, he's a machine.
There's no other golfer on the planet who could come back from that much time off. And all he had to do in his press conference was answer the question, do you think you can win? I do. And then that just starts the rocket ship. Yep. No one else moves the needle like Tiger Woods, and no one else ever will.
And here's the thing. After today, knowing that, what is the leader? 5 under?
5 under. Yeah.
under.
Sung J.M.
So, after tomorrow, he could easily be 2 or 3 back from the leader.
Bunch out there too.
Yeah, I think my buddy Adam was saying he could have been 3 under.
His bogeys were avoidable. His distance control was not good. He left it all in great spots, which is showing his knowledge of the course. Yeah. He left everything below the hole, which is where you want to be, but had to just rely on a lot of chip shots and a lot of par putts. If he had his irons dialed, he would have had a bunch of birdie looks. He didn't drive it great. Listen, I don't think anyone expected him to, but he'll be able to save par. He's the best scrambler of all time. So it's just wild. It's just wild.
We could very well be at the game on Sunday following Tiger's run, right?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you have to say it's a possibility. It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
No, like I said, he could easily be within 2 or 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
If he plays just a slightly better round than he did today.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
It's just nuts.
But listen, we gave you a little glimpse into the two-way miss. Banksy, shout out, love you. Baseball time.
It's baseball time.
It's baseball time.
God, I love baseball. I'm so excited.
It is happening. It's happening.
I'm so excited.
We are right there, and we're going to dive right in. And tomorrow being opening day, I wanted to ask both Regz and Joseph their favorite opening day memories. And Joseph, I said to me today, I've never been to an opening day, and that did strike me. Joseph, I had no idea. I don't think it clicked with me, but I said, no matter, just think about opening days you've watched, right? And you've experienced opening day 39 times in your life, right? So you have a memory, something that sticks out to you that you've enjoyed about opening day. Regz, I'm sure the same for you. So Joseph, tell us your favorite opening day memory, and then Regz, you'll go and I'll follow from there.
So this was difficult just because I did look up some stuff just to remember, try to give me a little more on the my memory of some of the great times. But then I just thought to myself, there's two that really stick in my mind. The one has to be 2009, after the Phils won the World Series. Just seeing the guys like Utley, Howard, and Rollins, just to name a few, come back out and get the ovation they truly deserved after everything they did for the city in 08 and themselves. That was absolutely awesome to watch in 09. And then it has to be 2019 because, like any other Philly fan, we went back and forth about it the whole offseason. Bryce here, Bryce there, never going to happen. And you still got to pinch yourself a little bit as you see him trot out to right field tomorrow afternoon and all season. MV3, is that right? I think that's right. Philly haters and Bryce Harper haters. But yeah, and Rhys Hoskins hit a grand slam that day. I think they're my two best. Maybe they're not the ones that people would go to just because I'm sure there's a lot of other ones. I remember McCutcheon hit a home run on an opening day a few years ago. Mm-hmm. That was cool.
Same day as Harp's debut.
So that was the same thing. So
same day, yeah.
But I'll kick it to you, Regz. What do you got, my friend?
2009 is a really good one. That's one that I don't think I remember enough. I was going to go. I did the same thing, Joseph. I had to sort of go back and look things up just to sort of jog my memory. And when I was looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, Roy Halladay. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to take that one. Seeing Roy Halladay go out to a Phillies mound on opening day. Yeah, that's good. That was a good one. That's a one that as it sparked my mind, I remembered it. 2009 is a great choice. Like having them come out after that season and, like you said, get the ovation that they deserved. It was great. So 2009 is a great one, but mine was, I really love that Roy Halladay one.
Yeah, So not little known fact. I think most people who know me know this. I've been to pretty much every opening day since I've graduated college. The only one I haven't been to was 2020 because of obviously COVID. So getting to see and some of them I've gone to the opening day on the road. Some I've waited till they've come home to their home opener. The one that you just mentioned, Regz, the Doc opening day, I went to on the road against the Nationals. They won 11-1. Placido Polanco hit a grand slam. I don't know why that sticks in my head as like the most memorable moment from that game.
Right.
I mean, Roy Halladay struck out Adam Dunn like 17 times that day. He threw him the same selection of pitches every time he hit. It was basically split change every single time. And Adam Dunn couldn't hit it if he basically told him, I'm throwing you a split change. Mm-hmm. So that was a really memorable one for me. And I mean, I think anybody who knows me knows that I love Doc.
Yeah.
And so, when they signed him, I was just over the moon. And I told Andrea we're going to Washington to watch him throw his first game. And it was the day after the Eagles traded Donovan McNabb. And I actually was reading through like my old Facebook status like a couple days ago, and it said, forget the Eagles. Thanks, Donovan, for everything. Going to see Doc on the mound tomorrow for the first time.
I love it.
And, that's a big one for me. And then back in 2011, saw Doc throw opening day at home. And they were down 4-1, I believe, in the ninth inning. And John Mayberry Jr. came up and hit a walk-off single, and sitting there and watching that with my buddy Adam, still one of my favorite opening day opening day memories. Just an electric ballpark. That was one of the best teams from that run. I still can't believe that team didn't win a championship, but those are a couple. And I wrote down the Harper debut. Being there for the Harper debut was something special. What an ovation that was. And honestly, I think that ovation gets topped at some point tomorrow. And I didn't tell either of you guys that, but we're going to talk a little bit about loudest ovation tomorrow. I just off the cuff, I'm going to be curious to think who you think that'll be.
All right.
But let's dive right into the to the year. Joseph, we in our episode last on Sunday night with Jack Fritz, we asked him about his excitement level. So we're going to start there with you. I think Regz and I both talked about where we're at in previous shows. So, give us a number 1 to 10 and talk a little bit about why you're there. Where's your excitement level going into tomorrow?
I mean, this time last year, I felt pretty excited, but I think, again, not knowing the situation of baseball in general, just being able to watch baseball, even tonight, turning on a little bit of the Atlanta-Cincinnati game. Tomorrow, just for me, is a new start. I have it at a 10.5 on the Richter scale. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I can go through the motions at work tomorrow. Anybody that works with me tomorrow, if I'm falling asleep, the kids even tell me, Mr. A, you dozed off today. But it's going to be just incredible to, like we're talking about, loudest ovation. The players like Castellanos, I feel like he could really get the crowd going early. And I'm not even talking about the game. I'm talking about running out and doing a cartwheel or something. I feel like he'll do something ridiculous like that. But just like, Bryson Stott's making his major league debut tomorrow afternoon. Thank you, Alec Baum, for sucking in spring training. But just that kind of stuff, and watching Mr. Nola come out, and he'll be joining me later. Another take I have. Just let's go. Like, it's baseball between the white lines. Kids and their dads. It's this is it. Like, I'm fired up, as you guys know me. Like, this is it.
So, Regz, just a question for you. The Reds are actually leading Atlanta right now. It's heading to the bottom of the 5th in Atlanta. World Series for the Phillies, because clearly the Braves just stink, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Did you see?
All right, just
hold on. While we're talking about the Braves, did you see
the Freeman Acuna thing?
Yeah.
Freddie shot it down. though.
Of course,
because
Freddie did. Yeah.
Freddie's a class act. Yeah. Yeah.
But I guys tell you on the show.
You want to know most hated guy? Acuna just made the top of the list.
Joseph hates Acuna.
I'm with you, buddy. I used to first. It's like the showboating got me good enough, but like at some point you have to be like, okay, he's really good. So you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. This is like you can't get along with Freddie Freeman. Like that just means you're an ass. That's what that means.
You know who's not good?
You're 22 years old and you're an ass.
You know who's not good and also an ass?
Who?
Brandon Nimmo.
Yep. I mean, I had to say who because I knew who it was, but I had to set it up for you.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Welcome. We got that done early tonight. I'm sure we'll come back later.
18 minutes in. That was good.
18 minutes in tonight, not 56. That's we got it in. All right. So real quickly, let's just peek on the roster. A lot of the guys that are on the roster are back this year. Obviously, like guys like JT, Reese, Gene, Didi, right? We got Bryce back. Baum's back. The rotation's basically what it was. It's the exact same as it was at the end of last year. Odubel's back, whether we like it or not. Right now he's on the IL, so we don't have to really focus a whole lot there. Veerling's back for the season. Let's just talk about the guys who are in. New guys who are in, guys that are out. And let's just start there. So here are the guys that are in. Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. Yes. Fired up. Let's go. We've got Corey Knable. Okay. Reliever.
Exciting.
Brad Hand. Juris Familia is in. Stott, Joseph mentioned before. Mickey Moniak, he mentioned before, and then Stubbs, the backup catcher, also in. Out. Kutch. Matt Moore. Oh. Ian Kennedy. Oh. Hector Neris, Archie Bradley, Freddie Galvis, Brad Miller, Andrew Knapp, Travis Jankowski, Vinny Velasquez. So let me start here. Joseph, is there anyone from that list of guys that I just read that are out that you wish were still on the roster, that you feel like could have, helped this roster that's currently constructed become, just take the next step?
Yeah, and the one guy you missed, I think you covered everybody, but the one guy I think he made the team is Johan Carmargo, who
Oh yeah, thank you. I did miss Johan Carmargo. Thank you.
No problem. Who might becoming bigger than we think because he's very good defensively, and if he hits a little bit, he could still be okay. He'll be interesting, and he has one in Atlanta, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
Winning pedigree. That's a really great question, and I actually took the question earlier when I was making some notes. Was that the player that I didn't want on the team last year? I don't know if we're going to go over that too, but I think I might have taken it wrong, so I wrote that down. As far as this question, I will say that as much as I was a Hector Neris, not an enthusiast, I think we will miss him tremendously, and I will tell you why. He wouldn't have been a closer. He would have been a setup or a middle guy.
Atta boy, Joseph. Preach.
I mean, I'm going to eat crow, as my buddy Jody Mack with WIP said.
Eat crow.
Yeah, I mean, Hector Neris never worried me unless he had the ball in the ninth inning.
Yeah.
He's going to set up for a guy named Ryan Presley, who's done nothing but get guys out with Houston.
Yep.
Other than that, man, I love Andrew McCutchen. If he has a good year in Milwaukee, good for him. But I think we had to move on. I don't think I have anybody else, but I'm telling you, Hector's going to have a big year. Big time has him in fantasy.
Regz, what about you? Anybody from that list that I read that you wish were still on the roster?
It's the same answer as Joseph. It's Hector.
Yeah.
I was ready for McCutchen to be gone. I was ready for that. He needed to be gone the year before that. I know he got hurt. Obviously, it's not his fault, but he just was not the same guy remotely after that injury. Nothing speaking to the guy he is. He's obviously a great guy, great teammate, great in the community, all that stuff. But I think having Hector instead, I know we have Hand, as because we need some lefties, especially with Alvarado being a little bit hurt. I know he's back now, but Hector's the one for me. I think it's the right call. I think just having that stuff in the bullpen, would be great.
Greg's been a good point too, and me and Michael have talked about this a little bit. But when I like Corey Knable is either down because of being tired and he has a little bit of an injury history, not to scare everybody, but he does. Hand's gonna have to be the guy unless Dominguez or Alvarado, which again Alvarado is he's a walk waiting to happen, that guy, when he's not throwing strikes. But he's lights out too. He absolutely can be. I'm just gonna say that this will join us again later. The bullpen is gonna be very interesting, but I think it will be better than last year, but it still makes me nervous.
So for me, clearly the guy that, I wish were still on the roster was Vince Velasquez. I mean, how can it not be Vinny Velo, every fifth day? I need that in my life. I need that 2.5, 2 1/3 inning performance every fifth day.
How dare you treat our listeners this way with your sarcasm? How dare you?
No, I mean, here's the thing. Anybody who's listened to this show, anybody who's heard me talk knows I am Hector the Protector all the way. This fan base is going to look back on their criticism of Hector Neris and regret it fully. I cannot tell you enough how much this fan base underappreciated that man for what he did during his tenure in Philadelphia. And we will regret it. We will regret it. Yes, he was not a good closer. 100%. He was only a closer because this was a bad team who didn't have somebody else to close. And he had to be the guy. And he wasn't. That's not what he is. And when he wasn't pitching in the ninth inning, as Joseph alluded to earlier, he was absolutely lights out. Lights out. No one hit that guy for 2 months last season when he was in the 7th and 8th inning. Philly fans, Y'all hated him. You're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. This is a dude we're going to miss. If he is in this bullpen right now, this bullpen is not even questioned. It's not. It's just not. So that's a hard loss. And man, I'm gonna love watching everybody else eat crow, like Joseph said. when he's in Houston, holding down the 8th inning for them every single night, and Brad Hand is throwing fastballs 92 miles an hour down the middle of the plate, and dudes like Brandon Nimmo are putting them in the right field seats. Oh God, that's gonna make me sick. Anyway. Most important addition, Regz. Who's the guy that you're looking at as an addition and saying this is the dude that's the most important to our roster as a new guy?
So it's difficult. It's a toss up between two people, and they're on opposite sides. Sort of their skill sets are on opposite sides of the baseball. Okay. I think it's Corey Knable.
Okay.
I think
that was I'm gonna have to change mine because that was gonna be mine. So good pick.
I apologize,
I'm in on that. No, that's a great pick. I'm in on it.
I think that this team is so desperate for any sort of like stability on the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah.
It's obviously well noted and well documented that it's just been non-existent for 7 years, 5 years, right? Pick a number.
It's been a while. No, it's been a while.
You could say all 10 of the drought, like maybe if you wanted to.
I mean,
I'm sure you could make
maybe
a case for it.
since Papelbon.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, we won't go down that road. But we listen. We don't know how he's going to do. We're making a bold prediction, or we're having some optimism based on. I mean, his stuff is nasty. That curveball is just disgusting.
Yeah.
So I'm putting a lot of faith in that. I'm putting a lot of faith in that he seems to have the closer attitude. He doesn't seem to be afraid to be in that spot. He doesn't seem like he'll get down if one doesn't go his way. No one, I think, no smart Phillies fan is expecting another Brad Lidge perfect season to walk through our door and pitch that way. I just don't even think it's probably possible in today's MLB that you could do something like that. So I think it's him. I think any stability back there, if he can go 70% of his saves that he can convert, that wins this team, 13 games, 15 games? Like, it puts us ahead of what it was last year. It puts us above a 500 record. And you say what you will about the Atlanta Braves. They obviously got hot at the right time, but they only beat us by 2.5 games, right? They were 2.5 games over 500. They weren't winning 100 games. And everyone says, talks up the Mets with all their signings and things like that. I still have no faith in the Mets, and I will never.
Well, they're missing their two biggest arms.
Washington, has clearly not, they're not going crazy with signings. They're not. Yeah. They let go Scherzer and Turner last year. We clearly know where they're headed. They're obviously still a decent club with Soto. That dude can carry a ball team. But if we can have a guy like that who can get us 10 more wins than we had last year, then the drought is over. And we're in the playoffs where no one wants to face this lineup.
Yeah, and real quickly, Joseph, before I turn it over to you, I think, and I'll wait on your answer till I give mine.
Yeah, and sorry, I ranted too long there.
No, you're good. Corey Knable was originally mine because I think, watching him this spring, and I said this an episode or two ago. I don't remember if I said it in the Fritz episode or the one before that. It's nearly impossible to square that guy up because of the movement he has on his pitches. If he's healthy, the ninth inning's not going to be an issue. It's just not. 70% feels almost low, Regz. I know where you were trying to go with that, but if he's healthy, I don't see any way he gets hit in the ninth inning because his stuff just does not stay on one plane. Fastball, curveball, it doesn't stay on a plane. So his health is really important, but this dude also took a bet on himself in signing a 1-year deal. The Phillies wanted a 2-year deal, and he said, no, I'm going to go on a 1-year deal because I want to prove myself as a closer in this league. So it's hell or high water. He's banking on himself. Joseph, your guy that is the most important addition to this roster, the dude you think has the biggest impact?
Yeah, two things quick. Number one, Scherzer might pitch in Washington. Wherever the Mets are playing tomorrow, he might be pitching. They announced that tonight.
Okay.
Analysts were saying they don't know if it's a good idea because he could hurt himself again and more. But
well, you know what? That's their own stupidity, but that's the Mets.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there. And the other thing is, Corey Knable used to be the closer for the Milwaukee Brewers a bunch of years back, and he had a really good season the one year. Then he ended up becoming like setup man. Again, it's just, I love your guys' idea. I thought of him, by the way, but I went offense because this team is led by their offense. And I know I was thrown out there on the One High Hope Phixated podcast a couple weeks back. And I'm going to say it because I wanted him here worse than anybody other than Chris Bryant. But number 2, left fielder / DH, maybe a little third base, Nick Castellanos will be so important, whether he's hitting in front of Bryce, behind Bryce, hopefully for the most part. I just look at this lineup, and he is so pivotal to getting on base, making things happen, driving in runs, and hitting bombs. Nick Castellanos is such a big part to this season and going beyond. I think he absolutely, on the offensive side of the ball, it's a slam dunk for me. He's the guy to watch for.
That was my second choice, by the way.
Me and Rex.
I mean, it was mine too, so I'll have to go to my third choice.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Joseph, you alluded to Corey Knable. Back in 2017, he was an all-star. 55 and a third innings pitched. He had, 2017, he was an all-star. 76 innings pitched, 39 saves. So,
Even if we get 29 of those.
I mean, if we get 29, we're probably not winning a ton of games. So you're hoping, or we're winning a lot of games by more than 3 runs, which is also fine, which is very possible with the offense that they have.
Yeah.
All right, so mine real quickly. I'll just go off the cuff a little bit. I'll go with Bryson Stott. Like I think Bryson Stott. We're going to talk about him here in a moment, but for me, this team needs a little bit of youth. And Joseph, you mentioned Castellanos. I think one piece that I would add to Castellanos is not just the offense, but the fire that he plays with. This team has lacked that. I'd say at the same time, Kyle Schwarber could be another part of this conversation because his ability and his experience in winning baseball games, not just in the regular season, but in the postseason, brings another element to this team that they haven't had since the run back from 07 to 11. But one thing that I think this team has missed over the course of the last few years is a dynamic young player who not only does things in the field to breed confidence in his teammates, but can have good at bats. And in our last episode, you heard Jack talk about the swing decisions that Bryson Stott has, and that's what makes him successful at the plate. I don't think that changes for him. And, I've watched quite a bit of video and quite a bit of replays of the games that he's played in this year. And Bryson Stott is, if nothing else, consistent in his swing choice, in his swing decisions, and in just his approach to every at bat. And, like Jack said, if you see guys who are having the same approach and the same swing decisions at bat after at bat after at bat, it results in success. It's what makes guys like Castellanos good. It's what makes guys like Harper good. Great, I should say. But at the end of the day, this team needs a little injection of youth. And we were hoping to get that from both Stott and Moniak. We're going to get to Moniak in a little bit and the stuff that happened there. But Bryson Stott, I think, does give them a little bit of that. It also gives them another left-handed bat to settle in at the bottom of the order, a guy with a high on-base percentage that can turn the lineup over for a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who, with runners on base, could do a lot of damage because, listen, you don't want to get more than one guy on base for, JT Realmuto and then Bryce Harper. So this lineup is just murderer's row top to bottom. And I think Bryson Stott could be the most important addition from the youth and consistent at bat perspective at the bottom of the order, something this lineup has lacked. So real quickly, before I ask the other question, I'm just going to jump right into this. Let's talk about the young guys on this team. I just talked about Stott. We've got the Baum conversation, and then we've got the Mickey Moniak conversation. So I'm going to ask, Regz, I'm going to start with you. on this one. And I'm just going to ask you, you've got Alec Baum, right? Alec Baum is a guy who has impressed in a year, struggled mightily in a year, doesn't look like he's recovered, right? So the concern there is heavy. You've got Bryson Stott. The excitement around him is real. He's a guy who can play three positions defensively and can straight up hit. So the excitement there is very palpable. And then you've got Mickey Moniak, who, my goodness, the adjustment was move closer to the plate, was one of the most impressive players this spring, not just on the Phillies roster, but in baseball. And now is out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken hand.
Such a
so
bummer.
there's disappointment there. So I'm going to ask you just to pick one, talk about them, and just elaborate a little bit on the story that I just started.
I'm going to pick Moniak. I think everything you said about Stott is absolutely true. And I will never stop thinking that living with a guy like Bryce Harper has given that guy a ton of confidence to go out and sort of achieve his talent ceiling, if you will. Moniak is another guy who, through work and adjustment and being open to change, has just balled out. And I couldn't be more bummed with this hand injury, like a freak thing on the last game of spring training. He's gonna, he makes the roster. It's just, when you get a bat like that in there, again, Matt Vierling's a great fielder, and he had, a nice hot start last year, but I don't think he wasn't Mickey Moniak in the spring. He wasn't what we saw from that guy. So I'm like kind of devastated by the Moniak news, to be quite honest. I was really looking forward to that. And I think I just can't choose Baum because I think he needs to go down to AAA and get at bats and get that confidence back. He's lost his confidence. He's lost the confidence in that he is a great hitter who can hit everything, spray it around. He's lost that confidence, and he needs to go down. He needs to go somewhere where he can get the chance to regain it. And that's not at the major league level right now.
So, Joseph, I'll jump over to you then, because obviously the Mickey Moniak thing is hard for the Phillies, and it was exciting to have three players, Baum, Stott, and Moniak, coming up on the roster. Unfortunately, the Moniak story is going to be cut a little short. Hopefully, he can bounce back. But talk to us a little bit about that Baum perspective and where you're at in regards to how's that going to work. Baum, Stott. How's Girardi going to make all this work with Didi and you've got Seguro on the other side? How's it all fit?
Well, I mean, here's the thing I keep thinking is that I truly believe that Bryson Stott has done enough, first of all, to play third base against most right-handed pitching. That being said, it's a good point because Didi needs a blow like in the next couple weeks because they play 13 games in 14 days. Then you throw Stott at short. If you throw Stott at short, you got to go with Baum at third. The problem with Alec Baum, I believe, is, and I'll take him just because Regz did a nice job with Moniak, and I feel bad for the kid, and I hope he does bounce back. But Alec Baum is in his own head. He's been reported. He's made comments like, I don't know what I'm doing. He went 2 for 22 in spring training at one point. I think us as Phillies fans, we want the kid to succeed. But he doesn't help himself defensively. And a lot of people are calling for change of scenery. We'll go for that. We'll do that in a little while when we touch on something else. But right now, I'm looking at him to maybe DH a little bit. That wouldn't be a shock to me. We got 6 or 7 guys that can do it, but he's got to be involved there because he doesn't have to worry about the mentality of going out on the field then. It's a real hard time when he strikes out or has an 0 for 4, and then he lets his defense be affected. That's one of the things you're taught when you're real young by coaches. That can't happen. But man, he was a prospect that's supposed to be the real deal. And Regz made a great point. Does he belong in AAA? Listen, if you're asking me, yeah. I don't think he deserves to be on the Major League roster. He's lucky right now that he's walking out in that field tomorrow. He better remember something, that there's guys gunning for his job. And one of those guys nobody's talking about is Nick Maton, who really impressed last year. He can play a lot of the infield. So Alec Baum, I wish you well, but I think his stay in Philly, whether traded or AAA, will be very, very short-leashed.
Yeah, I think, you guys both hit it. I mean, I was a big Alec Baum supporter last year, and I'm not gonna cut my ties with him here right now. I still think that the bat is real, and I think it change of scenery might be necessary for him. That being said, I asked the question to Joseph about how does it all fit, right? And 13 games, 13 days, 50 and 53 days. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity for Alec Baum. Now, here's the thing. If they had a healthy bullpen, I don't think Alec Baum's on the team, but there's so many injuries in that bullpen that they couldn't find enough guys to bring north with them.
Yeah.
So that's why Alec Baum is on this roster. I don't know that we see a ton of opportunity. I think, this team's trying to win right now, and they can't risk him playing third base. I don't know that they can risk taking Rhys Hoskins off the field because, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. But I just think Alec Baum's going to get the minimum amount of playing time. I think Carmargo gets more looks at third base early on in the year because of his defensive ability. I think we'll see a little bit of Carmargo at short. I think we'll see a little bit of Stott at short, and then vice versa at third base. Unfortunately, it is all mental for Alec Baum right now. And, at some point, somebody's going to be ready to go, whether it's a pitcher or, they can only carry 28 through April. So when they go back to 26, is Baum the guy that goes down? Maybe. What does he bring
unless
you?
he shows something.
Unless he's hitting the ball. Right.
There's just too many guys whose defense is better. You hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah, I think there's just, eventually it comes to a point where there's enough guys to give offense on this team. And he hasn't shown enough in the spring to show that the offense is strong enough to keep him on the roster. Yeah. So ultimately, the point with these three that we just made is Alec Baum out of the three is the one that has the least amount of hope to stay on the roster. Absolutely. Moniak, my goodness, what a sad story that is, because this dude was playing out of his mind. And I hope, and I will tell you right now, that Phillies fans need to boycott Citizens Bank. If this is the cause of if Odubel Herrera ends up jumping him because he got hurt, that's a problem. This dude deserves a chance when the time comes. When he's healthy, he deserves a roster spot. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
Will fight for that too, because I heard earlier, and you guys might have heard too, that he adjusted he's the one that, of course, told him to go close to the plate.
Yeah.
And Mickey said in the past, I've not listened to coaches, but I've heard the reputation of Kevin Long, of course, Girardi, all that stuff. And bottom line is, he said, I was a stubborn kid. I listened, and look what I'm doing now. So I'm not changing it now. But again, fracture it just sucks for a kid that really was putting it together.
Yeah, it's
last
so
game
much.
of freaking spring training. Like, you got to be kidding me.
John freaking Lannon and Chase Utley. It drives me nuts.
All
right, real quickly before we move on to some predictions, Joseph, give me one thing and briefly talk about what makes you nervous about this roster, about this team as constructed right now.
I'll impress you with my briefness. It's the bullpen. It's absolutely the bullpen. I don't know if it's recency bias or if it's just that Brad Hand, like you said, throwing 92 fastballs to guys like Brandon Nimmo. That could be a problem. Or Starling Marte, we'll see a lot of. I hope guys like Connor Brogdon. Rumor is Franklin Morales might make his way up and throw out of the bullpen if they need him. What's his name? The lefty. Damon Jones is on the team. He's a guy to watch out for. The very interesting lefty who could be a length guy. But these guys are all guys that don't have a lot of experience at the major league level. You got it. We said it before. The main guys, in conclusion, have to step up and give those guys that are younger a little bit of a confidence boost and say, listen, you saw what we did out there, now you do the same thing. Like, it's got to be a little more of the camaraderie of the bullpen. They got to have a 1-2. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the bullpen.
Regz, what about you?
So mine's very specific. I'm nervous about Aaron Nola and Kyle Gibson.
Okay.
I know this is very well documented on our podcast, and it seems to have gone away, but that 2-strike Aaron Nola curveball that is the bane of my existence, luckily has seemed to have gone away, based on watching spring training. The problem is he's still giving up a lot of home runs. Like almost all his earned runs are on bombs in spring training.
They're all solo home runs,
Yeah.
0-2 counts.
Right. So that's what I mean. It's back to that 0-2 count. That's a great point, Azzy. It's back to those 0-2 counts. He would get to those a bunch of times last year and throw that stupid spinning curveball, and guys would just hit it all over the place. Most of the time over the fence that is in the outfield. So I'm having thrown all my eggs in the Aaron Nola basket. I think he does look better, but I'm nervous about if that can sustain. And I think Kyle Gibson has not looked very good over spring. And I think the problem is that, as has been talked about many times before, Kyle Gibson is a contact guy. He pitches to contact. He has to be down in the zone all the time, and his stuff just doesn't look like it's getting there, which was the problem Nola had last year, and we saw how great that went. I have confidence in Zach Wheeler, of course. Eflin looks pretty good coming back. I'm giving him a little bit more benefit of the doubt, obviously coming off the injury and not pitching in a long time. I would just, all hail Ranger because I love that guy. Especially after that play he made off the mound the other day. That was so great. So I think it's those two. It's those two starters. I picked that because the bullpen is number one for me. But if I had to pick a second, I think it's those two starters.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny too, because real quick, I'm worried about Eflin's health. I love the guy, one of the nicest guys. They always say that, but I worry about his knee, his elbow, whatever you want to say. And then I'm also a little worried about Ranger Suarez, because as much as I love Ranger, teams are going to adjust to him, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of adjustments he makes back.
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to start with Gibson real quickly, just because one of the things about Kyle Gibson that I think needs to be addressed is, yeah, you're right, Regz. He's a contact pitcher, but he's a ground ball pitcher. And this infield isn't super conducive to protecting a pitcher like that. If you're talking about the 08 team, yeah. Oh my gosh, that left side of the infield is eating it up, right? Like Jimmy and Pedro and, even Chase, they're eating it up. But this infield, not super excited about. Those Kyle Gibson starts aren't going to be pretty, because he tends to get a lot of ground balls, and this infield doesn't vacuum him up the same way.
And also the outfield doesn't have a ton of range, like for how
Right.
Bryce still being decent, but like even if Schwarber's in left or Castellanos outside of center field with Verling, this outfield does not have range. So those little half bloops, right? Those little shots down the line. There's nobody tracking them down in the outfield too. So
the Suarez thing, I disagree. I think Ranger's style of pitching was shown last year. Like there's nothing fancy about Ranger Suarez. He just attacks you. Like he just attacks you. He's going to live in the zone, and he's not going to hide from that. And, I don't think there's any reason to believe he's not going to change that. Like hitters couldn't hit it last year, and he was pitching in the zone. There wasn't changeups they were diving at that now they can lay off. There wasn't sliders in the dirt. There wasn't a 2-pitch combo. He just throws the ball over the plate and dares you to hit it. Which I wish more pitchers would do. And for me, my concern is a little bit more generalized around the rotation, Regz. My concern is once you get past Kyle Gibson, I don't know what the heck's left, right? Like 1 through 5 is fine. I actually think 1 through 5 is a top 8 rotation in the sport. But once you get past that,
Ralph.
I don't know what's there. Like Christopher Sanchez, if you need him. Bailey Falter, if you need him. Hans Kraus, if you need him.
Is he a diehard villain or is he a pitcher?
I mean, right? None of these dudes scream confidence into me. They're a couple years away from having the depth that they need. So for me, the concern is not the bullpen. I think there's enough stuff out there to live another day. It's certainly not the offense. I know people are concerned about the defense, but hell, they're going to out-hit teams. It ain't going to matter.
Yeah.
It's if one of these top 5 guys go down. I don't know what's left to pick up the pieces.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah, we're going to score a lot of runs, but can we stop anyone else from scoring runs?
I think the 5 we have can.
I agree.
Do.
Yeah.
But if one of those guys gets hurt, I don't think we can.
Yeah.
I think that one spot gets beat up.
Yeah.
And that's going to be going to be the part that I think this team struggles if one of those guys goes down.
Yeah.
And we're going to see early on if that's the case, because 13 games in 13 days and 50 and 53.
Yep.
There's potential for injury after only like 15 spring training games. So
I'm sorry.
All right,
I just giggled because Shohei Ohtani just threw 100 miles an hour.
Oh, did you? Because the Braves are down 6-1. So Phillies are winning the division. All right, we're gonna jump in. The Braves stink. Worst World Series champions ever. All right, let's jump into seriously.
Like I said,
they
went 2 games over 500.
There's just a bunch of dudes who got hot. Like, stop. Let's stop acting like they were.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'd put them at the bottom of my World Series winners of all time. Anyway, let's jump into seriously. You're all laughing.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not. I just love how passionate you are about it. That's all.
I know. It just drives me nuts that they won the World Series last year with like a bunch of dudes who just got hot at the same time.
They usually win the division, but they didn't win the division. Instead, they actually it's the World Series all of a sudden.
Yeah, good for them. Their best player's gone. So, all right, let's jump over to predictions for this season because the Braves stink. So, let's talk a little bit about the power on this team. Because there's so much, and I just want to start with this question: can this team hit more than 200 home runs?
I want Joseph to answer first.
I said no, but I want to tell you what I did. You asked about the top 5 guys.
Yeah, but that's a separate question.
Oh, sorry.
Can the team itself?
Okay.
With their entire offensive roster. So I'm talking top to bottom. I'm talking basically Bryce Harper to, my goodness, I'm losing like backups here for off the top of my head. I'm talking Bryce Harper all the way down to Garrett Stubbs. Can they hit 200 home runs?
All right, well, I'll say yes to that then for everybody. Yes.
Okay. Regz?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they can too. I mean, because if you think about it, those top 5 guys, and we'll get to that number in a second. Those top 5 guys alone will get over 100 if healthy.
Oh,
well over 100.
Yeah.
So then you're just counting on Didi, right? You're counting on Stott and Moniak and Vierling and Baum, I guess, if he's up. Like, those are guys that you're counting on to pick up the rest of the pieces. So
Camargo had a few in the spring too, didn't he?
Who's that?
Camargo.
Yeah, Camargo too.
He's got a little pop.
They should just let Wheeler hit. He'll hit a couple.
Yeah.
I like it.
Get DH a game. I like to see that.
All right, so Joseph mentioned the top 5. Harper, right? JT, Schwartz, Castellanos, Reese. Over under 119 and a half on their own. Regz?
119 and a half. Oof. Slight under.
Ooh, okay.
I only say that. Right. Sorry, I'm going to caveat. I only say that because I think specifically JT, I think with his change in approach, won't hit as many because I think he's just going to be spraying it like all over the place. And I'm hoping that he's not trying to, because last year he was trying and it was not good.
Okay. Joseph.
I got him over, and I got him at 157.
Oh,
wait, I broke it. I knew you'd like this. I broke it down. I have Harper to hit 40, right? Because all the protection. Hold on.
Wow.
I got Schwartz at 30. I got Castellanos at 35. JT at 20. And I have Reese at 32.
Wow. Okay. I mean, the arm raise at the end, the stone cold arm raise at the end. Goodness gracious. So I got him at a slight over. I don't think it goes. I don't think they go to 150. Holy crap. But I got him over. I do. I think this. And I appreciate what you're saying, Regz, about JT. I do. But I'll tell you why. I'm gonna go to the next question, and I'll give mine first. My outlandish prediction, my hot take for this season, is that Rhys Hoskins leads the team in home runs. And I think he gets close to 40. I think he hits 38 this year. A healthy Rhys Hoskins gets to 38 home runs. And that makes up for the I guess the under in the JT.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at this lineup, I don't know that Rhys is necessarily the guy that you think leads this team in home runs, but I think Rhys benefits the most from what's happening around him right now. There's no pressure on Rhys Hoskins. None.
Yeah.
I
None.
have a question. Do we think Schwarber's going to lead off the whole year? Could we see him hitting cleanup or fifth?
No, he's going to lead off the whole year.
Yeah, I don't see why you would have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got to lead off. They don't have another leadoff hitter. They don't have another guy with
barring
that
something bad. Like, that means
Maybe
something bad
Herrera-
has happened.
Maybe Herrera when he comes
Nope.
back.
No thanks.
All right. Well,
I'm good there.
I'm okay.
Yeah. So Joseph, outlandish prediction.
This is a pitching one, Regz. You're going to love
I'm
it.
gonna love
It's an Aaron Nola prediction, is what it
no.
is. Here it
Jesus.
goes.
This is not going to happen, but I thought of it and I thought of you, so I think you'll appreciate this. The outlandish prediction of mine is Aaron Nola does not give up a home run until the 10th game he pitches in.
What?
Wow. There's
What?
no way. One is
He's
going
gonna
out.
give up a home
One
run
is going out
tomorrow.
tomorrow. That's exactly right. That's
If that
exactly
happens,
right.
Regz, if it happens, here's my caveat. If this would happen, you tell Angela she's got the kids one weekend and me and Michael are partying like it's 1979.
Joseph, if that happens, I'll buy you Richards for a month.
There is no way Aaron Nola's
Listen.
getting through 10 starts without giving up a home run. That is so
Listen,
outlandish.
I'm putting it, it's on the record. I will buy you your Richards for a month.
A month. You know what? I'll buy you a Richards for the next month.
There you go. 2 months
Do
free.
you guys lose it if we're at game 8 and he's still give up a home run?
No, because I can guarantee
gonna
you
be-
he's
it's-
not
yeah,
getting through 2
tomorrow.
months of start. He's
Tomorrow
not
it's
getting
gonna
through 2
happen.
months. Absolutely.
This is what, what's his name? Leadoff hitter for the A's. Salisbury goes through the lineup today. Tony Kemp will hit a freaking tater
Yeah.
off him.
Yeah, I mean, you're done tomorrow.
I know. I thought it was good.
I
just wanted
love
to
it.
welcome
That's
him.
great.
I mean,
I love
that
it.
is so outlandish.
This is
That
what I
is
bring
the
to Phixated
definition.
Podcast, my
Well
research.
done.
I love
Goodness gracious. Regz, your outlandish prediction. It can't get much more outlandish than that.
It can't. My outlandish prediction is that MV3 banner is there next year too.
Oh, that's
This
listen,
dude is.
listen,
I know this
I
is a
love that.
point, but like
I love that.
He's
the
legit.
whole reason this happens, the whole reason we bring these guys in is to protect the diamond, right?
Love that.
Nothing has happened. He's in how many how good does he have to look in spring? It's just like he is locked in.
Yep.
He has the people around him now
Yep.
to just be able to go up there and not. You talk about a guy who has no pressure. I mean, he has pressure for being just a stud, but just think about what the difference is with him walking up into the batter's box this year as opposed to last year.
Yep.
And he still won the MVP.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's my bold prediction.
I know. I love that. I absolutely love it.
Back-to-back MVPs.
I'm so happy about that because the next question is perfect lead in. So I'll ask Joseph, what's Harper's season like?
I mean, what a tough question. I mean, in a perfect world, we want to say that he knocks in what over
112.
125. I don't
Yeah,
know.
something like that.
125 is high, but yeah, so I think with that 112 number's pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he hits 30 to 40 home runs, and Bryce Harper isn't I think that's what people don't understand. He does so many of the little things, guys. He's not just the power hitter. He's not just an average hitter. He'll steal base. He'll go dive into the wall. He'll do what he needs to do to win baseball games. And he brought Castellanos here. He probably had something to do with Schwarber. And I'm sure he's gonna be knocking on the door at the deadline. Like Bryce Harper wants to win a championship in this city, and I think he wants to win multiple. And the overrated shit needs to go away, by the way. But yeah, he's going to have a monster season. Let's just get it out there right now. He's going to have a monster season.
Yeah, I agree. And Regz, the question I was going to ask next, are there any other awards that this team could win? And I actually wrote down next to that question, Bryce Harper repeats as the MVP. Actually, when you look at the predictions for MVP of this year, Bryce Harper has 0 writer predictions on The Athletic. 0 writer predictions on The Athletic.
Wasn't there some other list that came out of the Athletic that had him like not in the top tier of hitters?
Yeah, he is 0 predictions to win the MVP this year in the National League. Who are they giving it
to?
So Acuna was on there a bunch of times. He was listed there. He was in there a bunch of times. Soto was in there a couple of times too. Mookie Betts was in there a couple of times.
All right.
Bryce Harper had 0 votes. 0.
Watch his at bats as he gets to a 3-2 count almost every single time. Like he
0.
works the pitcher better than anybody I've ever watched.
Unbelievable.
This is a dude who literally put a team on his back with nobody hitting behind him for 2 months. And what's going to happen this year is he's going to look in the on-deck circle, and the pitcher and the catcher from the opposing team is going to look in the on-deck circle. Brandon Nimmo is going to look in the on-deck circle, and they're all going to piss their pants collectively because they cannot just pitch around Bryce Harper because Nick Castellanos is behind him, and then Rhys Hoskins is behind him. And then Gene Segura or JT Realmuto is behind him. And then Didi Gregorius is behind him. And if Didi Gregorius, even bad Didi Gregorius, is hitting 7th in your lineup, that's terrifying. So Bryce Harper, again, Regz, yes, absolutely. I think that we see the MV3 banner one more time next year. This is prime Bryce Harper. Any other awards that you guys see? I'll go first here. I think we could potentially see a Rookie of the Year if Bryson Stott gets to play every day. And I think finally this year, because he doesn't have to stress his offense as much, we could see a Gold Glove for JT Realmuto. The only thing that could potentially get in the way of that is Yadier Molina still exists.
Yeah.
And as long as Yadier Molina exists, then it's going to be very difficult for JT Realmuto to win a Gold Glove. I think there's a potential for a lot of Silver Sluggers in this lineup. A lot of Silver Sluggers. I think you could say probably 5 of the 9 positions have potential for a Silver Slugger. But I'll say Gold Glove potential, MVP potential, and a bunch of potential for Silver Slugger. And you know what? Hell, Zach Wheeler deserved the Cy Young last year. I'll say Cy Young this year. Any other awards or anything you want to add to mine, Joseph?
No, I have Wheeler for the Cy Youngs. I think he's going to be dominant again, and I have Bryson Stott for Rookie of the Year. I also want to say that I think Bryson Stott moves himself up in the order too. I'm going to make that a little bit. Realmuto struggles. I don't like him second, by the way. I want Segura up there. But either way, we can argue that another time. Or just debate. I mean, I didn't mean to say argue in a negative.
No, you're good. I think lineup construction, like Jack said the other night, once outside of 1, 3, and 4, you could do whatever you want.
It might not matter, right? I really believe this though. If Bryson Stott hits early and often, these things happen. I could see him hitting 6th or 7th. He doesn't have to hit 8th or 9th. Right? I think right away you probably put him down in the order. I maybe hit him 8th and then Veerling 9th. We'll see what happens, but. Yeah, I think you're right. Silver Sluggers is absolutely possibility. MVP, absolutely a possibility. You'll have a couple at least 1 or 2 Gold Gloves, even maybe. And I would love to throw out Manager of the Year, but I don't know if I want to do that. So.
No. Regz, what about you? No. What about you, Regz?
I don't disagree on anything. I think the Silver Sluggers were the one that I thought of next.
Okay. All right. So let's touch on Girardi. Regz, any chance he's on the hot seat early this year, or you think they're going to give him the year?
First thought is no, unless something really stupid happens. I don't see why. At this point, this stuff should kind of figure itself out. Hopefully, this is the time Joe kind of realizes just to sort of sit there and not mess with stuff too much.
Yeah. Yeah, with the DH, I think that's very likely. Joseph, agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think we talk about Castellanos' his fire, but he seems like he's like a ball player. We know he's a ball player, but just like his personality, maybe he clashes a little bit with Girardi. But I don't think you got to think about the Segura stuff too. They've had a couple of times where they've not seen eye to eye. I think Dombrowski kind of will make my point about Castellanos. So they're close. He drafted him. I think there would be any issues, they'll keep it in house. I don't see a problem. I think the only thing you have to worry about is that he doesn't have a contract next year, and Anthony Contreras is off to a good start in Lehigh Valley, and he's a guy that's been around the game and really good buddies with Preston Mattingly, now our farm guy, and just But I wanted to ask you guys too if we were going to go over the deadline at all, because I had a couple things I wanted to add if we were going to go.
We'll get there. A couple other things. Just a fun one. I looked at Girardi's ejection numbers over his career, and kind of figured I had to ask this one. So with the Phillies, he was ejected twice in 2020, 4 times in 2021. His career high is 6 ejections, 42 over his career. So I'm setting the over-under at 3.5 ejections for the year. Joseph, over or under?
Over.
Regz?
Over.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's getting thrown out 4 times. Easily.
Tough at least.
Maybe thrown out 4 times before the end of July. like we're talking once a month here for the first part of the season. Okay, one more over-under, and then we're going to get into a couple of other things here before we wrap up. Or I'm sorry, 2 more over-unders before we jump in to a couple other things. The first one being, can the Phillies score 900 runs this year? That's an average of 5.5 runs a game. So can they get to that number this year, Regz?
Can they? Sure.
Yeah. Will they?
That's a lot of runs.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of runs.
With this lineup, though, as constructed, can they get to 5.5 a game? There's a DH now.
Yeah, I'm going to say they probably don't, but obviously I don't have any doubt that it's a possibility.
They can get close, you think?
Yeah.
Like 5 is a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Joseph, can they get to 5.5 runs this year?
Yeah, definitely a possibility, but I just feel like they're under 900.
Okay. I'm going to say they do. I think that this lineup, as constructed, with the guys in their primes as they are, is just too hard to pitch to. Yeah. I think there's too many guys in this lineup who work deep counts. I think we're going to get into bullpens early in series, and that's going to make teams struggle to pitch to us later in series. So I do think they get there. I think they can average 5.5 a game. I think, we have not seen a DH for 162 games, and we're about to for the first time. We're used to having the pitcher kind of interrupt the lineup, and this team is constructed where the DH can be anybody on the roster, and they can just supplement somebody else in who would be starting anyway. So to me, this is a team that can get to 5.5 runs, and I'm excited to watch it. All right, real quickly, player who surprises. You don't have to give an explanation, just name it. A player who surprises this year, either in a positive or a negative way. Joseph, give me that guy.
All right, I'll go a little negative. I'm just not sold on JT Realmuto at the plate.
Do you think he surprises in a negative way? You think people that think he's going to be good, he's going to be bad?
Yeah, he's just not the offensive player that I think we all thought he was.
Okay. All right. Regz.
Didi. Everyone's a little bit high on him right now because he hasn't effed up very much.
Okay.
I just
You're
don't think
going
that.
down.
Yeah, I don't think that sustains. To be quite honest.
All right. I'm going to be the positive guy. I think Sir Anthony Dominguez surprises in a really positive way and becomes not just a consistent arm out of the bullpen, but the natural setup guy and possibly the dominant closer if something happens to Corey Knable.
I like it.
All right. So at the deadline, we're going to look all the way out till August 2nd because that's when the deadline is this year. What is the position that this team ends up trading for? What is the one position that this team's going to need come deadline time? When you look at the roster as constructed today, Regz, what is the position they're going to have to trade for?
Starter.
Joseph?
I put starter and bench bat.
Okay. And
also,
go ahead. You can expand.
Well, I just wanted to say that I want you to pay close attention to the Oakland bullpen tomorrow and Sunday. And also, and who would be in center field. I read an article earlier from Philadelphia Inquirer that said that they're high on Ramon Liriano and they're also high on Lou Trevino. So 2 names to keep an eye on just because they're kind of not center fields that need, but it could help us out too.
I
out there.
I think it's a starter. I don't see any way that this team doesn't go get a starter at the deadline. I just think that their depth hurts so much, and someone's going to get hurt, and they're going to have to go get a guy to implant into this rotation. I think the offense is fine, and I think they can find guys to supplement throughout the offense as needed. But I think starter is going to be where they have to go. All right, we're down to the final 3 pieces, the biggest 3 pieces of the conversation. Vegas has the over-under set at 85.5 wins for the Philadelphia Phillies this year. Joseph, will they be over or under 85.5 wins?
I have over at 89.
Okay, Regz, over or under 85.5 wins?
Over.
Do you have a number or are you just going to go over?
I don't have a number. Nope. Okay. Just over.
All right. I'm over at 91 wins this year. And I think I'll go right into it. I'm not going to hesitate. I think that wins the division because I've said it before. I've said it during this show. I don't think the Braves are going to continue what they did last year. I think losing Freddie Freeman is an absolute killer to that offense. I just think his presence in the middle of that order and his at-bats they're irreplaceable. Yeah, Matt Olson's a good player. He's a very good player. He's not Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
I think the Mets are always going to be the Mets. I don't think they did enough to improve. I think Canna is a fine player. I don't think he's a great player. Joseph mentioned Starling Marte. He's 34 years old with declining defense. And that's what they got him for. I don't think he's that good. I don't know what they do with Brandon Nimmo now. I don't know what happens with McNeil. Robinson Cano's still on that roster. And
really?
they have two pitchers at the top of the rotation that might not be able to pitch this year. Like DeGrom's out 2 months. What are we doing here? The Nationals got a little bit better. Nelson Cruz is obviously a really great player. He's a future Hall of Famer. Juan Soto is tremendous. But their leadoff hitter is going to be Cesar Hernandez, and their 5th, 6th hitter is going to be Maikel Franco. They basically just rebuilt the Phillies from 5-6 years ago. And the Marlins are going to be a sneaky good team. Keep an eye on them. But I think the Phillies win the division in 91 games. I think it probably goes Phillies, Braves, Mets, Marlins, Nationals. Regz, what about you?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I'd probably say that Mets are second. Probably if I'm scared of who I'm scared of the most, the Mets are second. Just if those guys do get healthy at some point, it's just such a crazy 1-2 punch from a starter perspective. You have to give the Braves. I completely agree with your Freeman take. I think it's a huge loss in the middle of that lineup. Just how that guy will always get on base. He will figure out a way to keep that lineup moving. So yeah, I think a division win is absolutely something that they'll do.
Joseph.
All right. Well, one of the reasons I put them at 89 is because I have them winning the wild card. I believe that. I think they're better than San Diego. I think they're even better than Cardinals, who scare me too, and the Brewers for that matter. I have a real hard time with the fact that Atlanta, not only do they get Kenley Jansen, as much as we don't like Acuna on the show, he is still a heck of a player. He's going to come back with Albies and Riley around him and seeing a little bit tonight. They're still fired up in Atlanta, of course. Even though they're losing, that's good news. I just think Atlanta wins the division, but it's not going to be, hey, it might be like a half a game. It might be really, really close. I think the battles between the Phillies and the Braves are going to be really good this year. The Mets are going to come in a little, they're going to be struggling with injuries, I think, too. And I love Lindor. I think they're very good offensively, but I think Michael hit the nail on the head. Their pitching is going to kill them. And man, they're the defending champs. No matter what they did, I just can't have a hard time not saying they're going to beat us out just because it's the Phillies. And like, we're going to end up making it really interesting. And I think we can, again, I'll eat crow on the show again if you have me on. I have to say Atlanta first, Phillies second, but Phillies make the wild card, and I'll stop there.
As of right now, the Mets are winning. Braves are still down 6-1. So
that's great
just,
news.
Just saying. The Mets are winning 4-1 here in the sixth. So, I mean, they're going to Miguel tonight. Miguel, is that how you pronounce? I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Miguel.
But he's starting tonight. The Nationals are their opponent, and just to give you an idea of that Nationals lineup, I was right. Cesar Hernandez is leading off tonight.
There you go.
Michael Franco's hitting 7th, but he is starting for them. It's just wild to me. All right, last question. How far does this team get in? We all predicted them to get in the playoffs. Regz and I have them winning the division. Joseph, you have them winning the wild card. So how far, Joseph, does this team get in the playoffs? Does it end in the wild card round? Do they get to the divisional round? Do they get to the championship series? Or do they get to the World Series?
If they make a starting rotation upgrade and they address the bench and do even one more thing in the bullpen, this team will get to the NLCS and lose to the dreaded Los Angeles Dodgers.
Regz?
Yeah, and I have the CS.
Okay. This and I agree with you guys. I actually probably I think they could, if they're going to be a wild card team, I could see them losing in the DS in division series, because that's probably where they'd match up with the Dodgers. If they win the division, then potentially they could see the Dodgers in the CS. I think this team is a World Series contender if the lineup stays healthy and this rotation is what it can be. Again, I don't worry as much about the bullpen. I don't worry at all about the defense. What I worry about is whether or not this rotation can stay healthy and make 25 to 30 starts apiece.
Yeah.
If they can't do that, then yeah, I think that this team could struggle. They might have to make an upgrade, but if all the pieces fall into place, this is a World Series contender. They're not a team that you can get into the playoffs and say that the Dodgers are automatically better than, because this lineup could hit anybody at any time. That's how talented they are top to bottom. But I do have them falling a little bit short. I think they're a playoff team, no doubt in my mind. I think that they're a World Series contender, no doubt in my mind, as constructed. Do they need an upgrade here or there? Sure, but every team needs an upgrade here or there. Look at the Braves that won the World Series last year. They needed 5 outfielders acquired to get to where they were going. So yeah, this is a contender, and to me, they can get far. It's just a matter of whether or not the pieces fall into place. On paper, they look great. On the field, we'll see starting tomorrow. So that's our rundown. I know that was quite a lengthy rundown from where we started, but totally worth it. Totally worth it.
I love
it. What a great conversation. Joseph, the honors are yours. It's the Phixated for you, my friend, on opening day eve.
All right.
Hit it, my dude.
I did not write anything down, so I will just go by saying had 2 options to do this, and I went with what I'm going to call the positional fixated. I am very, very, very sick and tired of Philadelphia Phillies drafting players and then maybe they trade for a guy. Here's a great example back in the day when they had Scott Rowland and Placido Polanco and second and third base. It seems to be they can never figure out second and third base. So on the eve of opening day, as much as it's not an opening day thing, it kind of is because we have Bryson Stott, who can play 3 different positions, naturally a shortstop, played second base in the minor leagues, now going to start third base tomorrow afternoon. So I just wonder, draft these guys, and I know things happen, injuries, setbacks, all this stuff, but can't we for once have an infield that would just be like what they designed it to be? Like, that's like, I would love to know even what the fixated listeners have to say. Please put it on the page. I would love to know. But like, it just baffles my mind, guys. It really baffles my mind. And I love the players that we put on the field for the most part. But sometimes in baseball, the consistency factor is so huge. And man, this team, this organization, somebody doesn't know consistency if it would hit them in the face. So that's what I'm going with. It's a pleasure to be on again. I'm just so excited for Phillies baseball, and every time I sit down or even jump in the shower, listen to Phixated podcast, I'm just very proud of both of you guys for doing this, and I just love to be a guest.
And he disappeared.
Oh, and he disappeared. If that was on purpose, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen ever.
What a mic drop. And it was the anti-Jack Fritz.
God.
It was the anti-Jack Fritz fixated. It was exactly the opposite.
Yep.
Oh, man, that was hilarious. I hope that was a mic drop. I hope that was a mic drop. That was awesome.
That was fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, I'll wrap up for that. I mean, Regz, what a show.
Sheesh.
Oh my gosh, so
God,
much
I love
to take
that baseball's
in.
back.
So much to take in. I mean, it at the end of all of this, the Phillies will be a team this year that people cannot ignore. And I think it's as simple as that. This is a roster that's well constructed by a future Hall of Fame executive. A roster that is built to win immediately around an MVP. A roster with guys who get on base, a roster with guys who can hit for power, a roster with guys who can hit to all fields, a roster that has a top 8 rotation in baseball and the potential for a top 10 to 12 bullpen at ceiling, probably top 15 to 20 floor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not bad. If you can be league average in the bullpen, you can win in the playoffs.
Yep.
The Braves did it last year.
Yep.
So tomorrow starts a journey, Regz, and it's going to be one heck of a ride because I think for the first time in a long time, we're going to be positive a lot more than we're negative when it comes to this baseball team. I truly believe this is a division winner. I really believe that. I say it right now on April 7th, the night before opening day, that this is an absolute playoff contender. And I mean that. Regz, I'll let you have a final word before we close out.
Oh, there's no other final word. I'm in. I know I'm like, I'm Mr. Negative and pessimistic guy. Not anymore. I can't. How could you be when you look at an offense that looks like this? I want to keep that MV3 banner up for all of next year too. I want it. I need it. And just with the protection that he now has, we've seen, right? I know it's just spring training, but spring training's a lot about a guy can look really bad or look really good. There's you don't really care about who's in the middle. And I think regardless of what people might say, him looking really good is a really good sign for this team. Yeah. So I'm all in.
Yeah. Tomorrow's going to be loud. It's going to be wild. That stadium's going to be amped up from the go. It's going to be amped up from the jump.
Yep.
And, we've heard ovations before. We have. And my prediction tomorrow is that the loudest ovation goes to Nick Castellanos. I think this city is so ready for that attitude. And I think tomorrow that place is going to erupt, and I wouldn't be shocked if he puts one out at some point tomorrow afternoon. So listen, Regz, tomorrow it starts. I'll be sitting in that place right behind me over my left shoulder. We're going to be talking about baseball, baby, for the next 6 months.
Can't wait.
We're going to be talking about baseball for the next 6 months.
I can't wait.
So, Phixated Nation, we hope you're ready to join us in that. Make sure you follow us on Birdies and Beer platforms. You can follow us on Birdies and Beer, at Birdies and Beer on Twitter. You can follow me at the Mic Drop. You can follow, or at the Mic Drop 5, sorry. You can follow our podcast at the Phixated Pod on Twitter as well. Make sure you check us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Birdies and Beer YouTube channel. My goodness, Regz, what an absolute jump we have had the last 2 weeks in YouTube views.
Oh yeah, they're nuts. It's like blowing up. It's crazy. So thank you to everyone. Subscribers are up to 16 now. We just had 10 like 4 days ago.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep it coming. Follow, subscribe. Give us some feedback. Like, we're open and ready to adjust whatever we have to.
Leave a comment, hit that like button if you like what you're seeing, all that good stuff.
All of it. But Phillies baseball is back. We cannot wait to get talking about it. We got Sixers playoff basketball right around the corner, and the NFL draft not too far away as well. So we'll be bringing you all sorts of content.
Lots of
just
good
content
stuff.
after content. Maybe I'll post some videos tomorrow going into the stadium and talking to people.
We need to feel the experience. We need to feel it.
Yeah, we'll get you some of that experience tomorrow throughout the day. So make sure you follow. We thank you so much for supporting this podcast. We love doing it. We love just having these conversations with people who share that energy and excitement for Philly sports. So everybody take care. Happy opening day. We love each and every one of you. Be good, be safe, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you, everybody.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.